everybody, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. For today's video, I'm doing something a little different, and I will be doing a haul from a website called BookOutlet, which is a website where you can get discounted books, and I had never really heard of it until I started my BookTok, which if you guys aren't following me, I highly recommend doing so, and you will see reviews of each of these books in the future. My BookTok is just at BookTok, BookTok _Nooktalk, NOOKTALK. I will have it linked down below for you guys, but I have become a huge reader and decided I would share my little haul with you guys. I got all of these books for $38.96. They were having a sale when I got them, so I definitely got to save a little more. And the majority of these books are hardcovers, and if you were to add up the total of buying these on Amazon or at a bookstore, it would probably be well over $100. So I cannot recommend checking out BookOutlet enough if you are a big reader. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Starting off, I have books from 3 authors that I've already read from before, and the first is a book by Kathleen Glasgow. She is the author of Girl in Pieces as well as How to Make Friends with the Dark. Before reading any of Kathleen Glasgow's books, I highly recommend checking out the trigger warnings. I'd actually recommend checking out trigger warnings for most books. And she also wrote You'd Be Home Now. And I own the 2 other books and figured I might as well get this one as well. I read Girl in Pieces back in 2023 and I didn't enjoy it as much as everyone else does, but then I read How to Make Friends with the Dark this past January and I really loved it, so I definitely wanted to go ahead and round out my collection and try this one as well. I also have a book from Faith Gardner. Faith Gardner is an amazing author. I absolutely love her writing. I actually started this year with one of her books, gave it 5 stars, and it was Girl on the Line. And when I saw that BookOutlet had one of her books, I decided I wanted to get it, and it is called How We Ricochet, and the entire book touches on a really sensitive topic, so definitely look up the trigger warnings. It is about a mass pew-pew, and I've actually already read it. I read this yesterday. I did only give it 4 stars. It was not as good as Girl on the Line, but it was still a really fantastic book and would definitely recommend it. And lastly, to round out books by authors that I've already read from before, is The Sharp Edge of Silence by Cameron Kelly Rosenblum. Fun fact, I actually had her as an elementary school teacher. And again, in January, I read The Stepping Off Place by her and I absolutely loved it, gave it 5 stars, and so I decided I wanted to read another one of her books and saw that they had it on BookOutlet, so I decided to go ahead and get it. And again, this is another one of those books that you're going to want to look up the trigger warnings for. Next up, I have 3 books from authors that I've never read before, and the first one is The Surgeon by Leslie Wolfe. I've heard so many great things about this. I don't know too much about it, but I believe it's a mystery thriller murder type book, which is right up my alley. So I was super excited to add this to my TBR, and I can't wait to read it. Next up, we have Lightlark by Aster. This is a fantasy book. I am not a fantasy girly in any way, shape, or form. However, this year I want to try new genres that I wouldn't typically reach for, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna read Fourth Wing, A Court of Thorns and Roses, as well as Lightlark. I've heard so many great things about Lightlark, and in terms of a fantasy book, this definitely seems like more up my alley than a bunch of the other popular fantasy books right now. And when I read the summary of it, it just sounded really interesting to me. And then the last one is 9 Lives by Peter Swanson. I've heard of him before, never read any of his books, but he is a mystery thriller author, and those are some of my favorite kind of books. Right now, I'm currently in my YA contemporary era. However, I do love a good mystery thriller as well. And another one of the reasons that this book really appealed to me is because part of it does take place in Maine, which if you guys didn't know, that is where I live and have always lived. So I'm excited to jump into this one as well. Lastly, in order to get free shipping, I needed to add one more book, and I could not for the life of me find a good book that really stuck out to me until I looked at the children's books. And I found the book that was my absolute favorite during my childhood, and that is The Napping House by Audrey. And let me tell you, it was very bittersweet getting this. When I read it through for the first time again, I definitely cried. This is the book that whenever my grandmother would take me to the library, I would always pick this book every single time almost. We never actually owned it, which is surprising because of how much I loved it, but I think it was because I did get so much enjoyment getting it from the library. My grandmother had to have read this book to me hundreds of times and never once did she complain, and she did pass away when I was 16, and so it's kind of bittersweet owning my favorite childhood book that she used to read to me. I really wish she was still here to read this to me one last time, but I am so happy that I own it. If you guys have kids, I cannot recommend this book enough. It is such a cute, fun book. So that is just my little book outlet haul for you guys. Again, I highly recommend checking it out if you are a big reader. They don't have every book, but they do have a ton to choose from. If you you guys like this video and think I should do more reading content here on my channel, definitely let me know in the comments down below. While you guys are down there, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I upload new content regularly and would love it if you'd become part of our little family. Also, be sure to hit the bell so that you are in fact notified every time I do upload a new video. I hope you guys like this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys!